Hi, this is Garibay, and today we're going to talk specifically about Lovecraft Country, which is an HBO show based on a book, a science fiction book, and how that show contains a map for Democrats that they will need when they are defeated by Donald Trump and are entering really what is their Lovecraft Country, is when they're entering another 4 years of Donald Trump. So what do they do? Right now their back's really against the wall and they're really kind of stuck and they're faced with all these horrors, right? So first of all, spoilers in this for Lovecraft Country. I'll explain what it is. So let's get talking. All right, so I'm going to explain what Lovecraft Country is. Then I'm going to put a kind of an asterisk on this, and then I'm going to explain what the map is for Democrats in the 5 to 8 year span in the Donald Trump presidency. All right, so what is Lovecraft Country? It's a brilliant show. It's a really, really brilliant show. I really love this show. There is one asterisk to it, but I want to explain what the show is before I put the asterisk on it. And so what is Lovecraft Country? Well, it's a show about H.P. Lovecraft, an H.P. Lovecraft world being explored by incredibly strong, incredibly dynamic, incredibly compelling, incredibly deep narrative characters who are black, right? So what's special about this? Why is it special that we have all these awesome black heroes in a show that is about Lovecraft material? Well, so first of all, if you don't know what Lovecraft material is, it refers to H.P. Lovecraft. He was a horror writer, an American horror writer who hit it really big in the 1920s and created the Cthulhu mythos. His work is now in the public domain, and it's really amazing horror content. So H.P. Lovecraft is this whole body of work, The Mountains of Madness, Dagon, and like all these really cool Cthulhu stories and novels, right? And it's all there, and anybody could use it in any way they want because it's in the public domain. And H.P. Lovecraft was an absolutely peerless 1920s American horror writer. He wrote amazing content, and he was the Stephen King of the 1920s. It's one of the best ways to understand him. Brilliant guy, right? So Lovecraft Country is a show that is using all of the Cthulhu mythos to craft a story about black heroes exploring horrorscapes that are populated by H.P. Lovecraft creatures and H.P. Lovecraft concepts, right? And now, so what's special about it? Why are we talking about it today, right? Well, the thing is, it's really unique. And why is it super unique? Well, H.P. Lovecraft Country is black heroes exploring Cthulhu mythos. So what's special about that is H.P. Lovecraft was a brilliant American horror writer, but he was an absolutely terrible person when it came to racial equality. He did not believe in racial equality, and virtually nothing in his work or in his personal statements ever indicated that he really had proper respect for racial equality. In fact, there is he was a eugenicist, in my opinion. There's a lot of evidence that he was a eugenicist, right? And eugenicist that equals monster today. If you understand, and if you don't know it, I'm not going to go into a whole video on eugenics here, but if you don't know the horrors of eugenics, just Google it, Google the word, and you will see why being a eugenicist is terrible, okay? So H.P. Lovecraft was a eugenicist, right? So here we see today, Jordan Peele is connected to to Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country is a whole bunch of black creators creating an amazing piece of art in enemy territory. What do you mean enemy territory? Well, in the source material of someone who would never have extended racial equality to them, which is horrific, right? That's real horror, not fake horror, not like literary horror. That's real horror, right? So, and that's the map, okay? That's the special part, is showing like the Lovecraft Country show is showing that you can create something really special in enemy territory, right? So, two black heroes. The Cthulhu mythos is really enemy territory because the author never really extended that world to cool, awesome, compelling black characters, right? But Lovecraft Country is creating cool, compelling stories in the middle of enemy territory. And that's what the Democrats are going to have to do. They're going to have to find ways to achieve cool, compelling things, innovative things, special things in a world that is enemy territory for them. And trust me, a second term for Donald Trump will absolutely be enemy territory for the vast majority of Democrats, right? All right, so I got to put the button on this asterisk, right? So I really like the show Lovecraft Country, about 90%, actually I would say about 75% of it. But 25% of it I really dislike, and I can't recommend the show based on this asterisk, right? So I'm watching the show because I'm a Jordan Peele fan, right? And I'm a Cthulhu Mythos fan, right? But the problem with Lovecraft Country is it has a ton of content in it that does not belong in it, right? It is, so what is that content? Well, there are paramours in the show, and then they choose to be physical with each other, and it is non-stop, right? There are just tons of physical encounters between paramours in the show that do nothing to add to the show, massively detract from the show, and specifically make it completely inaccessible to junior high people and high school people who really would benefit from the major themes of the show, but because of the paramour physical activity that's in the show, it's completely inaccessible to anyone who's in junior high or in high school, and really it's really inaccessible to anyone who doesn't want to watch paramours being physical a lot in some really strange ways, right? Not strange, not that. That's the only reason I said strange is there's monsters in this show, and there's scenes of like physically not like monsters, like figurative monsters, but literal monsters, you know, engaging physically with human beings. It's very disturbing, right? And so, and from that perspective, also, this is exactly like Game of Thrones, where it has this button where there is this physical paramour stuff, and me as an evangelical Christian, the way I interact with this stuff is I have to fast forward through it, right? So Game of Thrones, I literally call Game of Fast Forwards, and Lovecraft Country is the same thing. I have to forward through these scenes. Episode 6 of this show, I saw 5 minutes of that show because I had to fast forward through virtually every single scene. It's throughout the whole show. And I really hope that Hollywood will realize they got these great ideas, these great concepts, but they're hiding them, they're making them incredibly inaccessible to a large number of people that, that they're making them really inaccessible to a large number of people that would be able to watch these shows, but this content really makes it quite inaccessible. And this problem is very, very evident in H.P. Lovecraft. I wish I could say, hey, you should go watch this. You shouldn't go watch this. But I am very excited. I think Lovecraft Country says, hey, you could make something compelling and cool and interesting and innovative in enemy territory, right? These are stories about black heroes that are being told in enemy territory, and the Cthulhu mythos is really very much enemy territory to black heroes, because the source material, H.P. Lovecraft, was not all about racial equality, didn't even understand racial equality, and quite frankly wasn't a eugenicist. But it's exciting because it tells the Democrats, even in 4 years of Donald Trump, you don't give up. Like, you could still get things done. You can still make an impact and make something innovative, compelling, and cool in enemy territory. That's exactly what's happening with Lovecraft Country, right? And I think that's what the Democrats can do in Donald Trump's second term. And I think it's really important that they acknowledge that they can do things in Donald Trump's second term, because some of the hyperbole that's coming out of the Democrats right now is like, if Donald Trump gets a second term, we're all going to die, right? And that's just frankly not correct. It's not correct, and it doesn't match what we've seen, right? Like, it's been pretty controlled, right? So that's my take. What do you think? Do you think that Democrats can do something compelling, interesting, and cool in enemy territory, which would be a second term for Donald Trump? I'd love to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.